Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Warlock, Master of the Arcane. I am your host, BrainBoy20, and let's continue from where we last left off, which was nowhere. We were just starting up the game. And I didn't even finish a single turn because I was talking so much. Then again, this kind of thing tends to happen. Now, I've lowered the graphical settings. You probably won't notice that huge of a difference. The texture quality, landscape quality, and the clouds quality is all I've lowered. Entirely because I thought, wait a minute, this is a Civ game. A massive Civ game. Which means the graphics, if I keep it like this, will destroy my computer while I'm doing fraps or stuff like that. Or maybe I'm severely underestimating my own PC. I don't know. I don't care. This probably won't come up again. But if it does in the future, you might see me lower the graphics settings if it starts to become I bleed frame rate or something like that. Although flame rate would be interesting. Anyway, let's end a turn, shall we? You see? That was interesting, wasn't it? You can tell because of the sarcasm. That's exactly what I expected. Okay, so it seems like we have a mountain range, which my greatest fears could be realized soon. Oh, curses. I'm being an idiot. Hang on. No. Because I can support it, and I'm going to want to expand as soon as possible. Shove out another unit of skeletal warriors, please. Just because I'm guaranteed to lose something. Ah, mana nodes, one of my favorite resources to acquire. If I can get a ship next to it. Ship. Yes, a ship. A city is now a ship. No, this threw me off. There are lootable locations like these shipwrecks, which kind of act like villages in older Civ games, or barbarian encampments, or ancient ruins, depending on what you're thinking about. You gain an amount of gold. You can gain spells, which are, as you've seen in the previous episode, are replacements for your technologies. Or you can gain units. I have yet to see a negative effect from searching through one of these. However, there are also the barbarian encampments, which I'm surprised we have yet to encounter one. Then again, I say that, and it's going to happen now. Oh, hi. Skeleton settlers now can be recruited. Now, a funny thing about this Civ game is that if you recruit settlers, it has no negative effect on the city. Then again, I could be mixing up my terminologies in other Civ games, but normally when you recruit settlers, it damages the city in some way. When I do this, it doesn't seem to do anything here, as in, it doesn't seem to take any population away from the city, it doesn't seem to stun its growth in any way, shape, or form. You can just build as many settlers as you want, so this game really does encourage city building. Along with the fact that you also have your buildings count as your roads as well, which I guess kind of makes sense as to why they're doing that. I'll be building a foundry next, just so I can get the so I can start gaining perks and such. After this, I'm going to get one settler out, because I want control of the mana node. Now you're going to also see something else. You're going to see... Oh, wait a minute. Hey! I forgot to mention, neutral cities. They're kind of like city-states. I keep mentioning other civilization games just because I'm aware of them. They're similar to city-states. So we have skeleton archers, meaning we have an undead city somewhere around here. If it's in a good enough location, I may just capture it, but now you're going to see why it's a hilariously bad idea to shoot missiles at another skeleton. Hang on, is there a way I can make this better? No, I can't afford the magic. Okay. Critical hit, -3 health, 12 health remaining. This game sometimes. Now he runs away and he's going to be firing.
A new spell has been researched, my lord.
Okay, so we've researched Lesser Fireball, which is something I might be able to immediately use. Summon Imps is our next one. Well, I don't have a summon, so I might as well get one, so in the inevitable case, I can showcase some of the summons for you. I don't remember if Summon Imp is actually pretty good, because I stop using summons when I get certain units. Summons are just worthless to me. Now then, I have access to many different buildings now, because I have access to different special resources. I can get a smithy. This does not belong to the special resource. Any buildings that require a special resource is right here. I don't know why I was even looking at the smithy. But as you can see, I can only build a foundry on there. But it provides the perk Masterwork Armor for X classes, which is applied throughout the entirety of your civilization, not just from the not just from the units from the city. However, you have to buy the item, and you'll see what I mean soon. Now, that was a somewhat bad move, I could agree, because if I built a building right there, I can get these guys to move out here faster, but oh well. And no sense in not doing this. And construction is complete. I can't use any spells because I don't have nearly enough mana, but with that mana vault I can start thinking about just spamming spells, as I'm going to start making enough mana to do the weaker ones at least. So they fired back. Now we're going to go see if we can figure out where the city-state is. Now they're in rough terrain. Wait, really? They're on a hill? Oh well. As you can see, melee is much better against skeletons than archery, which I guess kind of makes sense. Are we on a hill? Where are they? Oh, Forest Hills. Oh. Yeah, that would have been nice to actually pay attention to. Ah well. And we critically hit them, meaning they retreat. And as we can see, there's the undead base. They have their mana trap and everything. So these guys will start rushing out, while you will take more pot shots at the skeletons. Now the damage was reduced. I don't know... Oh, perks. The perk system, you get a choice between 3 perks per level. It's always the same for the first ones, but the choices you have now will of course impact the choices you have later. Unlike other Civ games, you don't have access to all the perks, but the perks do work in a progression tree. If you take certain perks, you can exclude other perks as well, as later down the line, certain perks will not become available. I do not know how the tree works, I just take whatever I believe is completely useful. Say, for example, these archers. They do not need cover from missile fire. They do not need any type of missile defense. They're skeletons. Missiles do next to nothing to them. So, normally it's power that I go for right away. And next turn we should be getting some settlers, I believe? Yes, next turn we should be getting some settlers. You can't build anything within 3 tiles because every city can expand out 3 radiuses. I don't know how to say this. 3 influence rings or otherwise, meaning they can exploit all the resources there. You have to build it at least 3 tiles in between, so any of these tiles I could build a city on, but that wouldn't be efficient. And there's almost no reason to build up here, because these mountains, for the time being, will prevent me from making full use of that city. Not like I go for being that efficient. Now, can I do something? I can do lesser weakness, but that's useless in my opinion, for now. So let's just continue. 1 arrow.
Your Excellency, someone has humbly requested your aid.
Okay. Here's another interesting bit about this game. You will randomly receive quests from random people. This is meant to help influence your city building and decisions. At the beginning, the quests... Well, I should just show you. I have build a harbor as my quest. Someone's asking me to construct a harbor, which I was planning on doing anyway because I want to get out the Caravellas soon, which is the undead's unique naval unit. Not unique naval unit, but the undead's naval unit. That and it leads on to some very, very good units later on. Units that I very much enjoy. And as you can see, we get a monetary reward and a mana reward. Don't ask me how the trade guild has mana, unless they're magicians crafting this stuff. But yeah. And of course I have to click there. Now we have the settler. I'm going to start moving him out here. Now, as of right now, there's no real good city locations, but since nothing is going to be spawning in this area, and this place is relatively defended, I might as well do this. And just send him out in this direction, see how far we can go before we find a suitable city location. Sadly, there's no benefit whatsoever to exploring it on a hilltop. And I think I have my city location. If I build here, I have access to both the pumpkins and the mana node. And the magic node is, by itself, worth building a city on. No. I didn't make that much use of my movement, but oh well. Oh geez, I wasn't paying any attention to how long the spell is going to take to research. Right. Oh, yes, the construction of my foundry is done, meaning I can now select a perk, and if I pay 50 gold pieces, I can equip Masterwork Armor. Unfortunately, I can't actually see how much gold I have unless I'm hovering over it, and I've only got 61. So this wouldn't be the brightest idea to go for immediately. Once I get a small reserve of gold... Oh geez, this is actually pretty good. Okay. Settler, get over here. We got a city for you. Halberd Hall. Unfortunately, I can't get halberd skeletons. The construction of Halberd Hall, however, allows me to do one thing. Allows me to get a specific building that I like, which is the War University. I'll figure out what that means. I'll figure out what that was later. But what it does is, it allows you to gain 1 experience point per turn, which is why I think Instructor is next to useless. You can get enough benefits anyway that effectively act as if you had Instructor. And now we're going to move to march on the city, because most cities, as you can see right in the bottom corner, I'm not going to move my cursor off of it, because you can see the castle has missile attack, and since we're heavily missile resistant, we might as well go murder it. Now, as for new units to construct, I don't know if I should construct another unit just... Actually, yeah, I'm going to be getting a harbor anyway, so I'm not going to construct anything just yet. And you have random events as well. Any land you've explored, you'll see where the barbarian encampments appeared, but here's one of them, finally. The dens of dangerous beasts are now oh, curses. The dens of dangerous beasts are everywhere. Basically it means ratmen and such spawn on the map at random. So I might have to pull back some units to deal with it. I think 1 unit of skeletons will be enough to hold them back, plus I'm going to give them some magic support anyway. So here we are. And as you can see, here are some wolves as beasts. And the monsters will try to take over cities, and they can in fact take over cities. Now let's just make these people have a little bit of a nightmare. And of course there's always splash damage to cities. You don't need any special type of equipment to do that. Any ranged attack or melee attack done to units on a city will always splash over to a city, which kind of makes sense, considering you're fighting a battlefield for the interior of a city. You'd kind of think that kind of thing would happen. Well, folks, we know that I'm not good at English, so... yeah. And of course, they're not focusing on me. I'm going to ignore those wolves. Right, you also get random events like these. A merchant is offering to purchase a remarkable artifact. Gee, I wonder why I'm not going to bother purchasing it. That and it's a terrible artifact. I can always get things like that just at random or from looting. Oh yes, I haven't explained the hero system yet, have I? Well, none of them have offered any services. When it comes up, I'll explain it, but until then... Right. I think I'm going to... Instead of doing that... Nope. No. No. Masterwork Armor. And it makes it even. I don't like even. Fireball. And that's how useful casting spells are. I can cast another. Give me the city. And now we have a massive advantage. We have an advantage. But these guys aren't going to be dying anytime soon, and their missile resistance shot to 100, which, like I said, makes missiles almost useless against a target. Skeletons are just naturally resistant to every single type of weapon out there that's made by mortal hands, but non-magicians. I'm trying to word these things extremely awkwardly. I gotta stop that. Magic fields. I'd be okay with this resource. I'd be rather okay with it. Let's see what you do. Right. You, of course, will assault the city. Yeah, the skeletons suicided. And these guys leveled up. They don't need any more melee resistance. They're not going to be... It really depends on the terrain, and terrain kind of takes a back seat in this game, so I'll just give them Furious Charge as usual. As usual. You don't know my usual. But you're learning my usual, so I guess that can be avoided. Now he'll move here. Hopefully nothing's just going to come over here and kill him. Then again, there's more than enough damaging terrain in the region where that shouldn't be a problem. And you will now be heading towards the Ratman. And this should be upgrading the city again, which will allow me to build the harbor. Now the city itself is taking so much damage that it can't actually hurt my skeletons, so it's over. It basically is over. And these guys rank up again. They don't need much melee resistance. Endurance is nice, but for now, Perceptive, just so I can get the levels out immediately. And now we'll found our first city.
A new city has been founded, my lord.
Now, unfortunately, it's not in the best location. I'd rather not have snowy mountains directly here. But unfortunately, this is the most optimum, as I get access to the pumpkins. Like I said, I don't need... There's multiples of many resources, so it's... You're free to do as you please with the resources. And now we send our skeletons out here. How much gold do I have? Not nearly enough, but right now we have... Wild Ratman. No. I'd like you to guard. Actually, wait. We have more health overall, so... Maybe? Bad decisions, 101. And now we're going to start constructing of a harbor, which will give us access to the Caravellis, and if you're reading very closely, the air dockyard, and you'll see why I like the Undead's naval units. Plus it also gives us a percentage bonus to everything we do for gold, so gold will start skyrocketing from the city soon. And that's our turn. Now since they're not on guard anymore, they had to... Oh, you... Excuse me. Fine, gentlemen, go back here and remove these skeletons from the location. You will instead take down this city, and you'll be taking it next turn. You will open fire on the rats. Now, since they're not on guard anymore, we severely overpower them. And we gain access to the rat hole, which just gives us 30 gold. And since we... Actually, we can do something else. Let's just make them regret this. I don't normally like casting spells in this ridiculous amount in the beginning, but unfortunately, my spawn didn't give me tons of resources like I usually get to just start spamming spells or spamming out units. That, and we haven't even gotten to the best undead units yet. Now who ranked up? You ranked up. Furious Charge? I'm trying very hard not to burp, and you up? I'm gonna have you rest. I'm not gonna lose you right away. Now you will take out the rats. You will return and take over the city. You will... we already have so little gold as it is. But I'm gonna do it because I need the research. You're gonna build a magic testing area. Now you will head on and just snipe these people a bit more. Basically make them even less of a threat than before. And now we have several cities to work with, which is nice. And I should consider building another skeletal settler. Oh, you have the gold. I do have the gold. Let's do it. As I'm going to need to expand, and I already see another magic node. Which, of course, in 3 turns, this city would get it. Not 3 turns. In the 3 influence rings, eventually this city would acquire the magic node. And become a real magic powerhouse, but I never know if I'm going to have more pressing concerns. Anyway, end our current turn.
A new spell has been researched, my lord.
Let's see. We now have Summon Imps. We have another spell to research. I don't have anything I really want to research right now, so... Raise the Land is nice, but I'm going with a partial naval force. And until I get a very specific spell that could be potentially harmful. So for now... wolves, really. Okay, murder. Take them down. And... get your masterwork armor. You back up into the hill. That was a silly idea. The forest hills were better. Oh well, it doesn't matter. The wolves are effectively murdered. And now you will move out and force them back. Fortunately, it's too weak to actually consider taking over Red Pond. Now we can now build caravelluses. Unfortunately, I have the gold for it, but they cost a lot upkeep-wise. However, this could pay off in getting some spells, so I'll try to get the caravellus out. It might pay off in getting some spells. I'm talking about this thing right here. Or any other so I can spot them. Now this city is nice, and it may become one of the very few food harvesting cities I have, just because when it expands enough, it will have access to 2 pig resources. Now pigs are only good for getting food. You can't have skeletons riding pigs, unfortunately. As hilarious as that would look. In which case, this city will just produce tons of food for other portions of my army, which are, I'd say, mid-game for a civilization of my stature to use. Now we of course have to let the monsters go through, and they're retreating. So enemy at the gates, kill him. Now, the skeleton will move... I don't want to move you anywhere just yet in particular. I'll have you stationed there. You will rest. I'll level up you first. Be perceptive, so you can level up while you're resting. Now, you will make your trek over here, but I doubt we're going to get much movement out of you. You are fully healed, as it is. So take a move. No. And soon the Caravellis will be done. Unfortunately, soon this magic testing area will be done and the gold will take a bit of a hit. But this doesn't last that long. Eventually I'm going to be making so much gold and mana per turn it won't matter, unless I'm actually staying on top of spending my resources as much as I'm using them. Now, unlike other Civ games, this game doesn't have anything that is a wonder type building. Everything can be built by any race. No, that's a lie. Any race of the same type can build any race of the same type structure. So another undead race can build any undead structure that I have. While any human race can build any human structure I have, that another human has. There's nothing that specifically states, you get this wonder structure and suddenly you have a benefit no one else can get. However, the resources I could consider the wonder resources, as there are certain resources that are incredibly rare in the prime material world, the world of Ondania. However, the side worlds, when we finally reach them, will fix that problem for the rarity of those resources. And you relax so you can start to heal a bit, as once again, the strength of the unit and the amount of damage it can deal. This damage amount means how much damage it can deal on a good day, at its best, when it's not critting, but at full health against a target. That's the amount of damage it can deal. As your health drops in relation to your foe, this number becomes less and less relevant, because that's just baseline. As your health drops in comparison to your foe's health, on a percentage system, so does your damage to them. And their damage to you also increases, except in a few cases, like we saw with the skeleton earlier, but we can't really do much about that now, can we? Anyway, let's end our...
A new spell has been researched, my lord.
So we have Lesser Heal that was researched, even though I don't like it, and we get our first resistance spell that I'm gonna probably be using later. Melee Resist, which, as it sounds, allows you to resist melee attacks. Now we have our magic testing area. This was for twofold reasons. One, mana income. Mana is far more important than gold to me, but also research points income, as research points are harder to come by, at least for the undead race. I don't have much experience with the others, because I normally try to play a solo race run. You don't have any other races available to you. And as you can see, we already have our next island that's just slightly below. I'm going to be exploring this, as this may be a bay again or something like that. Now for you, magic testing area, you're probably going to get mana from there, and this thing. So I might just turn you into another mana farm. However, not before building a market, because this thing takes a lot of gold from what I remember. And we'll build it through the hills, so we have easy access to moving through the city. You're fully healed, so start exploring. That was a bad idea. Is there any place I can immediately get? No, I can run though. I should have put them on guard. Maybe that would have been a good idea. But we have reinforcements on the way. Now occasionally you get situations like this. There are very specific spells that, as usual, there are very specific spells that if you use are incredibly useful. Yeah. Let's summon something, shall we? Because we're going to need lots of force to break through that. So let's summon some imps to the Forest Hills. Now for imps, or for summoned creatures, you can summon them and then immediately use them. There is no penalty to doing so. Now these people have an elemental magic attack, no distance on their attack though, and they drain mana per turn. But then again, we're making enough mana to compensate, so this should be fine. So yeah, the Wolves' Den in the Graveyard explain the skeletons and wolves, and the Rat Den or the Ratman hole also explains the rats. So we're probably going to be stuck like this for a while as we try to foot slog our way through the region. Right, the Caravellas first. We have another independent state right there. I'll have to consider taking that over soon, if I want to get some headway into the island below. I know it's not one of my rivals yet, entirely because the very moment you look at the opponent's influence ring, you immediately get contacted by them. Right, so everyone here is fully healed, and we have our attack force ready. We'll wait until everyone has movement. And we'll also apply some buffs to these people so they don't get horribly maimed and slaughtered. Excuse me, come on. Masterwork armor to the imps as well. Now, of course, unlike my skeletons from the previous episode, imps are resistant to life magic, missile, and melee, but to a much lesser degree. Actually, no, they're not even resistant to melee and missile. It's entirely because of the armor. They have no resistances. However, they're small, they're cheap, and they can move very, very fast. So I tend to, if I get a summon that I really like, I tend to spam it against an opponent until... I tend to spam it against the barbarians, really, to try to force them away. Unfortunately, that gets rather expensive after a while. Now, defend. Have all these people defend so they don't get killed by the opponents. And... opponents, barbarians. Skeletal Settler is now here.
A new spell has been researched, my lord.
Please note, I'm barely conscious about the thing that I'm talking about half the time. But here's something I really like. Elemental regeneration. Now, the research time is high, as for the research points of 70. However, what this is our very first blessing. Blessing spells act as if they were summons. You can apply them to a person, to a unit. Say skeletons, for example. And this specific blessing will, over time, restore the unit's hit points by, I think, 8 per turn? Or 2. No, first aid is 2. Elemental regeneration is 8. So this is something I want to have. It's cheap, and it allows units to have a lot more survivability than before. Now, I like the air dockyard and what it gives me, the flying galleass and the flying line galleass. However, that's rather expensive right now. What I really need are production buildings, buildings that can make me save money. So what I'm going to do is make a bat fort. This will be placed, say, about here, in order to prevent the occasional monster spawns that happen in a certain radius around them from going unmolested for a while. Now this area will receive the mana trap, because if I don't have it, it cuts off about half the area's buildings, and this will probably become a mana-based location, if I can't make it into a food-based one. Now everything here is ready for an assault, so we shall begin. And we claim the Wolves Den. Yes! And we found an Infernal Rift. One of my favorite locations, just because of a few things you can acquire from there. Meaning this area will probably be used before I had originally intended it to be. Ah well, plans always change. Now this one, yeah, that would be moving all its time, so I'll instead move it over here and see if there's anything in this direction, and it doesn't look like it. But yes, I'm going to try to use this Infernal Rift immediately then, with the Settler, but until then I need to get rid of all of these people first, and that's not the easiest thing to do. First things first. I need to hurt the skeletons a bit. If I don't, they'll probably destroy these skeletons in conjunction with the wolves.
Aye, sir.
More magical plains. And barren plains. Not magical plains, magical fields. Which means I can get the other one if I claim whatever city this is. And judging from the unit shadow, it looks like they might be human. Wait. No. No, hang on. No, they're undead. I spawned with another undead buddy nearby that I could easily take over. If you're wondering how I'm gauging this, these guys have a small plume on their head, and this shadow looks like the head has a plume on it, so it may as well be as I'm expecting. Anyway, let's end our turn and see how horrible the decision that I had was. Right, first things first, the Caravellis. You never know what you might find. You might even find sea monsters. Oh yes, waterborne barbarians. Anyone's nightmare. Now, I might as well use you to finish these people. No, actually no, that could have been a better idea. Right, so this will be a foot slog then. Right. Get a move on. We're gonna need to set up that city as soon as possible, or else this place is not gonna make a profit for a little while. Force them back. They're not moving, so force them back again. How profitable is this area gonna be? I've already seen gems, which is really nice. Jeez. I don't know where to build my city now. Do I wait? Do I let the city claim both magic nodes eventually? I think I'm gonna have to. It's the only thing that makes sense. Right. Rogues. The only problem with these people is if you're not alive, you get resistances to them naturally, as in you're completely immune to their death magic. If you're alive, however, they are very, very deadly to me really early on. Which is why I like this. Unfortunately, these people have no resistances at all to death magic. So, there. Yes, death magic counts as poison. As you can see, poison, 50% death magic. However... Actually, wait. They're not immune to death magic themselves. And unfortunately, all rogues are female. I don't know what they're saying about this game, then. Oh, really? Are you kidding me? Okay, close city view. Little jerks. Right. Move you here. The skeleton group is attacked and heavily damaged, so they'll just return and force them away. Fire. Now, you're not immune to death magic, but you're throwaways, and I'm getting rid of you as soon as possible, so I might as well use you to get some advantage. Free Rogues Guild. This is the kind of thing I enjoy. Your troops have captured the invisibility spell. Very useful. Applies invisibility to a unit. Invisible units can only be seen from adjacent hexes. It basically makes you immune to ranged attacks. And I get a lord, the Rat Prince. I'm gonna have to get rid of him though. Damn it, I'm gonna have to get rid of him. And a lot of gold. Wait a minute, do I have to get rid of him? Anyway. I might as well say the lords. I mean, they're unique, at least. For every rat king, there are 30 to 50 rat princes. It is an unbearable burden to maintain so many heirs for any court, so a tradition was invented that those princes would, so to speak, enjoy full freedom in matters of organizing their lives and finding something to eat. Usually they succeed quite well. For every rat prince, only a little bit weaker than the Rat King himself. You'd think they'd actually proofread these things. I keep wanting to correct them. Anyway. I'm checking here. Okay, so the +5 gold is not immediate, it's just gold from whenever you pillage buildings and stuff like that. So he's a lord. What he has is melee, he gets free death magic because he has poison, unhindered, pass ability dense and poor, which just makes it as if you were walking through regular terrain. He's a usual hero, but as any hero is, they're resistant to most types of magic. A scout, so he sees the area around him, and he's a beast, sadly. Okay, I know that's the location for the next city, I just need to make sure he gets there. However, with this free unit, we'll have you take him down. And as you can see, barbarian encampments, when they become enclosed like this, are really a slogfest.
Ready to pillage!
Because you get things like these. Predatory spiders. Now they may look harmless. In fact, their attacks is mostly death magic. Here's the problem though. Not just the strong poison. Whenever they attack, they usually do this. Web. Inflicts melee and death magic to a target and stuns it. They are stuck there for 3 turns and are unable to fight back through any means. At all. It's incredibly infuriating. Thankfully I have a lord to deal the damage to. And I might as well give him masterwork armor, because he's already going to be a drain on my resources. You're kidding, right? Okay. What city's going to be building soon? Hopefully this city finishes this turn and... this is going to be annoying. Right, I didn't expect seeing this thing so soon. Greater Fire Elemental. These things guard holy grounds. Guess what he's standing on? That's right, I spawned with a holy ground right next to me, and now my army's going to be ground into dust. Right, might as well back out now, and abandon my hopes of trying to build a city there. It's not going to work. Actually, I might as well suicide with the Rat Prince. I don't want him anyway. He's too much of a drain on my resources. And unfortunately, immune to death magic, so I can't use any of my powerful death magic against him. Look at his resistances. Just naturally 90 and 90. Next immune to life magic. Heavily resistant to elemental. And he's mostly elemental magic in damage. And can somehow deal ranged damage. Can somehow deal melee damage at range. Oh, and he leveled up once. So yeah, this army is going to be ground to dust in half a second by this thing alone. I could be misreading that, but it doesn't matter. This thing's going to destroy everything, so... Caravellis, might as well explore. There is another shipwreck. Hopefully there's nothing dead to find. There's so many resources here. So many. Right, you're the only thing that can produce. I'm going to have to ask you to produce more warriors and more archers. Actually, get rid of one warrior, and we'll see what we can do with these forces. Now, as of right now, I have the mana to do so. Let's just spam Lesser Fireball on him. Why am I spamming? Why is fire hurting a fire elemental? It's magic fire. I don't have to explain anything. And now everything here is going to die horribly.
You have received a new request, my lord.
Oh, he did rank up here. Order construction of a new building. For now, please build a little... just so we can get a positive food amount. A new quest, build a city. That's what I was planning to do. And then that thing came along. Right, you I will have you rest, because we're going to try to take down the rat hole over there. Now, we'll go over in this direction, and we'll try our best to remove the spiders from here. For this unit, I think sniper is going to make the most sense. We need to get rid of these people, as many as possible, at distance as well. We'll take this, get 3 mana, and then try to force them away.
Ready to pillage! Yeah.
Try to take them down. Good job. Now, this is the only thing that's keeping me from going any further. It'd be suicide to go any further. However, the resources here are good enough for what I have intended. I will send you to where the Rat Prince currently is. He will found a city here. This city will then be able to make use of the Infernal Rift, the gems, and the iron, or gems, depending on how you pronounce it. Hopefully, no. Actually, I'm not even gonna risk it. Kill him. Flying serpents are ranged monstrosities that deal elemental damage, which of course bypasses everything I have for protection. So I might as well make sure I don't risk it, and he doesn't have a chance of dying. Shipwreck, and there's a lost caravan, and a snake's nest. So this is how you get your gold really early on. At least in my opinion. I can now recruit green bats here, just because I built the bat fort. They're scouts, but they cost food, and I don't have the luxury of food.
You have met one of your rivals, my lord.
That's not good, I spawned really near one then. How about it's a caravel, meaning it's a human? Pathetic. Anyway, undead, go. We need all the forces we can. We need taken. Yeah. I can't speak today. Alright, you will move back here and do nothing. You will rest. You will go over here to prevent them seeing you. And you will defend. You will this, you will that. I can't... Yeah, I might as well narrate what I'm doing. Resistance is nothing, like I said. They're pushovers. If they don't die in one hit.
Carabellus.
Yeah, go this way. And they're bears. If I want to fight them, I can, but don't feel like it. And then noble werewolves. Noble werewolves are by no means the brainless animals that many people wrongly imagine them to be. They know everything that a well-educated modern werewolf needs to know. Medicine, anatomy, chemistry, astronomy, cooking, and several anti-flea remedies. There's nothing wrong with that picture at all, so who did I meet?
How do you do, old colleague? Still trying to master Firebolt?
No, Mirabellus. I'm waiting for you to start doing demands so I can start declaring war on you. Just like every AI does. Right, Rat Prince. You will instead move over here and see if you can take over the Ratman hole away from them. I don't want anything spawning there, please. Now those werewolves were controlled by a monster civilization because they were grey, which means neutral, yada yada yada. I've already been through this before. Let's make this... It's gonna be a food-producing city anyway. So I guess I might as well build a farm. Sigh. You move over slightly. And then build a city.
We have founded a new city.
Which of course gives me the gold I need. Rat Prince, take over the Ratman hole, which gives me money. And you should be fine.
We have found a portal to another world.
I could go through that right now. Not with this ship, of course. I could summon something directly on it and go through it, just to show you how many problems that place would provide. Actually, I'm thinking about doing that now. You might actually enjoy that. Hang on. I'll show you how hard it is to take over a mystic portal. Ghost wolves. So you're trying to take over that city. I'm not going to allow that, Mirabellis. So yeah, here's the mystic portal. Here are earth elementals. These guys hurt a lot. These are the weakest things you'll find inside one of these portals. Immune to death magic, life magic resistance, missile, and melee resistance, and resistances to elemental magic. So no, I'm not going to bother attacking you. What I will do... Demon wood. These things are really fun, if you can guess already. However, we found open and world with closed panes. Ice Hain. I'll be trying to take over that location eventually, but right now it's not the best idea. It's more suicidal than anything. So, current turn. And of course the demon wood takes them out in one hit, so it doesn't really matter.
You have received a new request, my lord.
New quest. Capture the neutral city of Greykeep. Okay, I might actually do that. What's the reward? The reward's actually pretty good too. Oh well. Here's an archer hero, if you're so interested. I recognize him because I almost always get an offer for one of these people. Unfortunately, the drains too much of my resources, and I don't really like having archers like this. I already can produce archers that can do much, much more than you, eventually. But I might as well give you his whole spiel. Any goblin can become a first sharpshooter. They need only win 10 Last Blood duels. Last Blood bow duels, and then duel with one of the 9 first sharpshooters. Tournaments for the title are held daily, but for the last 5 years, no one from the 9 first sharpshooters has been replaced. That tells you something, doesn't it? I'll consider maybe hiring the hero just so I can make my job easier. As of right now, I don't think I can do anything with you that would make it efficient for me to use you. My throat's starting to kill me already.
Woo! Time to move!
You probably say that a lot, don't you? I'm hoping here, what I'm hoping for, is that I can foot slog this elemental to death. I want to have so many units here that when I strike him, he dies immediately in 1 turn or less before he can start dishing out his ranged damage he loves so much. Where's the Caravellis? The Ghost Wolves are on a transport. Oh yes, I didn't explain that. Any land unit, if they spend 1 full turn without moving on a tile adjacent to water, they can move out of that tile onto water, and a transport cog will be automatically created for free. However, this exhausts all their movement, their health is reduced to a measly 12, and they have a ranged attack of 4. Damage, I mean. They're not very good, but they can allow you to transport units easily across, well, across understandable locations and such. And of course, I'm waiting for my recruitment to get together because I need to knock him down and then take over the rest of this land. Greykeep will have to wait for later, when I can actually decide to do something about it. When I have the resources to do something about it now, because unfortunately I don't. The Caravellis is not enough, and I'm not inclined to build more than 1 for my exploration. And... well, they died. I don't know how.
Congratulations! You have successfully researched a new spell, my lord.
Okay, never mind. It's just 3 hit points per turn, but... And while it costs 2 mana, it can mean the difference between life and death for certain very tough units. Now we can do Summon Serpents, which I might as well do. Actually no. Raise the land, because that's incredibly cheap right now, with research points wise, and I would like to get better spells than that, so I get those out of the way. Now as for the rest of my army... No! I did not tell you to do that. I'm trying to micromanage these people now, so they're actually in position. Darn you skeletons in the back, you made me mess up. Time to die. He'll heal. The archers will be on their way. To start providing fire support.
Ready about.
And let's see what's over.
We have found a portal to another world.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. That doesn't really concern me right now. I can't do a thing about it. But yes, I'm on an island, and it doesn't look like Mirabellus is on the same island right now. He maybe sent a scouting unit to search, but he didn't really find anything useful. But the 2 mystic portals are next to me. There are 4 more in the world. And I'm probably going to kill these imps so I can give this guy some experience for a hopeful level up that I really would like for him. I hate it when the game does this. Spawns a random mob here of demons, which are the upgraded variants of imps. They have no more resistances, but they have a ranged elemental attack instead of a melee attack. That kills you, and I lost my archers, so I have to attack them in melee, which is suicide. Unless we'll give them some elemental magic resistance. Unfortunately, if I win the combat against these people, I would be right next to the greater fire element, the great fire elemental. Nope. Lesser weakness. He wants to go over here, murder these people. Might as well enact my plan a little bit early. I mean, my units are going to be trickling in behind them, and hopefully it won't attract the attention of you-know-who.
Ooh, time to move!
Curses, I could have actually prevented some of that. Oh well. Furious charge. I mean, prevented some of the damage. I'm not really good at explaining my thoughts, aren't I? So you get a move on. And Carabellus... Open... Oh, they're on guard, never mind. Yes, Kraken. As you can see, a sea monster. Now, I'm at the northern section of the land, which is nice to know. Which means this island can't extend out that far. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to deal with a full-blown castle of a neutral village before I can lay claim to the entire isle. So if it's going to murder some of my forces even more than they are... Right, so let's see here. It was mana, mana, mana with you. So mana farm them. Offer.
We have something to discuss, wouldn't you say?
You know what? Why not? The artifact shielded... I hate this. When it decides that, oh, this isn't in the foreground, it's in the background. But the shield of Jean Benjean. So something resistance, resistance to melee and missile. I don't need that. Well, the heroes might need it, but I don't. Nor do I care. Be forced to try to take this guy out, so might as well try to push right now. And while leveling up you is nice, you're not going to live long enough for it to matter. Unless... force them back, and I get fertile lands as well as mana. And I get a rare resource. Darn it, I'm not slapping myself in the face. This game makes this area so tempting to take. Why? Hopefully these units can move a little bit faster, because I'd really like to claim the region. If only because it's giving me such nice benefits, such as Nevril. As this is a rare resource in the main world, and it produces an armor, I think? I can't attack these guys without a ranged unit, so I either kill these or weaken him, and I'd rather weaken this man. So he doesn't have a chance to instantly kill my warriors in one hit without any repercussions. Now you will guard, and you will most definitely be on your guard so you don't get killed in one hit. As you can see...
Congratulations! You have successfully researched a new spell, my lord.
As you can see, that melee unit didn't even stand a chance. It was one hit killed by that guy. Unfortunately, I have no means of getting rid of him immediately, unless I can get enough frost weapon chance out. Now, what to build with you now? I'll give you a smithy, only to produce some armor for our units. And you might as well explore, because you're hopefully not going to die in one shot. Rat. We'll see if we can stealth capture something. Nope, they're guarding it. They're guarding it to make sure they don't lose it. As anything should. Now there is something I can do that I've been neglecting. Summon him. Are you kidding me? 2 of them? Really? Oh well. I'm just gonna summon throwaway imps every turn until one of these things dies. I'm just gonna keep doing that. It's the only thing that makes sense at this point. And you... oh, can't rest. Sadly. Okay, if there's another greater fire elemental, that means there's a holy ground somewhere here. And I'll capture this city next. Unfortunately, it's a beast city, so I'm gonna have to remove it in favor of a settler. Speaking of which... let's get one out, and I'm gonna need a drink soon. What time is it? Oh gosh, this episode may have ran on a little longer than I had expected. Ah well. I like playing sim games. I don't think I can overstate that enough. You rest, so you don't get killed. These guys are still effectively in one-shot mode. Trying to think of a way to do this. Anyway, I think I'm going to call this one a set. Hope you all enjoyed this game. And I'll see you all next episode of Let's Play Warlock, Master of the Arcane, with me, BrainBoy.